Hey guys, this is Rurouni K95 here. Today's anime review, we get to cover another anime series that I have finished watching in the past month ago, or 2 months ago, I believe. For today's anime review is Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan is actually based on it started as an anime series which started from July 6, 2010 until December 21st, 2010. Yeah, only 24 episodes. It was done by the company Studio Dean, which is known for their work on Ron Mahaff, as many of other anime that are made by Studio Dean out there as well. And yes, this anime series was directed by Nishimura. And yes, this is based on the 25-volume manga of the same name by Hiroshi Shibashi, which is serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump from 2008 until 2012 as well. So, we're going to be discussing about how this anime goes, particularly of how it's given and of how we expect for to stand the testimony as well for the satisfactory results of how this is Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. And yes, this anime series started in 2012 10, which is probably around the same time as Maid Sama was probably airing at the time as well. Despite that, Maid Sama is another one of those ambiguous pain in the butt anime to deal with. But anyways, back to Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan, however. So let's talk about the plot for Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan, however. So for the plot in Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan, however, it is about of how the story goes as it said that the spirit who stood at the helm of the night parade of 100 demons, who was the supreme commander of all monsters and lord of pandemonium, Nura Rihion and young Rikuo comes from the bloodline of Nurarihion and is the one quarter demon, which is probably was the main part of this particular series in Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan as well, probably. Although he has the ability to communicate with and command yokai, he has no intention of succeeding his grandfather as a head of the Nura clan, instead choosing to live a normal human life. However, with his family and of all aides are waiting for him to fully accept the succession, and his knight Rukyo alter ego determined to become the next leader, as can this how the young schoolboy fight his fate as a Nura to lead the night parade? That is the question, though. So that's the plot for this anime. So basically, of how this is particularly more different than any other anime, how it is to explain as well. And yes, this was a anime series that premiered in 2010, in the same feeling of how to explain of the this probably of the standards of how it goes, as how it suppose as it was. And yes, it started at the same time when they first heard that the final episode of Inuyasha, the final act, was happening or aired around the same time as this anime series, Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan, goes, particularly. However, unlike Inuyasha, however, Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan is basically more serious and more but there's some comedy in there, but there is some Japanese mythology and all, and there's some swordplay and supernatural action type feel of it. Probably more different than Inuyasha or more similar to Inuyasha. I don't know, probably more different than the other. It's basically like a mafia version about the yokai, particularly of how the charismatic goes. So the story is basically straightforward and easily compare these names of how these characters have. I mean, for Nura, he had to become a successor of the clan of 100 demons, what his grandfather has the point of how 100 demons refer Naru as their master when he has the authority of how it's not reality of how they use it, how it goes in the beginning when the story progresses, and how the emerge of how the conflicts goes as well. Naru plays more of a leadership as well, particularly of how he has the able to bond with the few of his classmates, not only becoming friends, but instead they started to form a demon club, which what they do in Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. Have how it's investigating demons go. It was a little too easy going of how the club goes in Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. So that's how the story explains of how it goes. But that's just how it is of how the story goes as for Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. The animation was very impressive as well. I mean, I thought it was decent at first, but it looks very impressive and it had a smooth but odd transitions of how the perspective flows, how it goes, of another kind of priority for for this type of anime series that has like Nora Rise of the Yokai Clan as well. It seems to go as I think the way anime, Japanese anime goes in a pure line of how the flowness feels, particularly for the animation in Nora Rise of the Yokai Clan, especially where there is a cherry blossom tree located at Nura's home. Of how the effort goes, it's basically more animated in comparison to than any other anime in general out there. I mean, the branches in the trees are leaves and the flow are more flowing of how the aesthetic feel as well of it seems to work because in that taxidermy as well is more different than reproducing a human figure, particularly. As that's how I explained for the about the animation. Well, for the characters, particularly, there are some human cast characters. I mean, for example, Naru. Basically, this makes up any certain dialogue of how it's important of how there's some backstory on these types of human characters for Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. Maybe three or two flashbacks when demons affected two on these types certain human characters in the past. This probably has they wanted to make up on how they do two episodes. Some of the episodes can be filler, like the most random monster of the week type many other situation probably to these days as well. I mean, the humor of the show goes this coming from one source, especially for a leader of the demon club. This has the kind of way of how this goes, particularly. I mean, yeah, that's probably of how. There is the character Yuri, who is the formidable demon hunter who travels to the area when she can handle tough demons. When she joined the circle of Nura's circle of friends later on, of how this goes in Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. There are many characters and many demons who are too civilized, particularly of how this goes, it seems, as well. As how they expected as well. How the difference of how the safest way to go find as a beginning and the ending of how this all becoming in common. It's just especially if you ever watched the series or if you read the original manga like I have, especially or if you watched both read the manga or watched the anime in this at the same time, particularly in this whole turn of event ways of how the phoenix has rises from the ashes of how to explain as an institute more different than an institute fallen from grace as well at the multiple thing as of how the credibility goes, especially for an anime series like Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan as well. And that's how I'm giving my thoughts and opinions, particularly for this anime like Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan as well. So these types of tropes, as well as some animation and the sound, particularly of how and the characters usually progresses, particularly of how this had a lot to do for it in the making as well, particularly of how the backstory has few on any certain characters could have had fixed it if they wanted it tended as well. I mean, the one for of Nura's personal guard is basically her personality of how it's distinguishing of her cutie attitude as well. But that's just how it is as well. But overall, I find this show to be enjoyable if you like supernatural with Japanese mythology and yokai genre. I mean, the story's a little consistent of how it flows properly, of how that the characters were not exactly memorable as they should have been. I mean, the special abilities would have helped have the priority on any characters. I mean, I thought the humans would have died, but some of them may live or die. But that's the difference between particularly as well. I mean, that's probably of how you expect as well, none of the less as well. So I'm going to give this series a 10 out of 10 because I find this anime series to be a great enjoyable if you want to rewatch Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan for anime rewatch particularly as well. And also, not only that, despite that there is only 24 episodes on any, there is the second season of Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan called Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan Demon Capital, which came out on July 5th, 2011, which I'll cover that some other time. But I'm here to discuss about the first season of Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan that came out in 2010 actually. But that's just how it goes. So I'm going to find my thoughts for this song. When I first watched Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan, I really never knew that this had some supernatural and some Japanese mythology of how it goes, as well as the present day of how it progresses as what you see in Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan as well. And yet another type of priority as well of how it goes, particularly of how most of the famous anime like this has been probably wanted to be discussed as also for to rewatch it after you finish watching Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. Particularly if it was to many anime that have to rewatched in general as it was to who a lot how it goes as well. It was a long way from Inuyasha, and not only that, it is also a long way before Demon Slayer as well, particularly. And I guess I say that when I first watched this, I think this kind of reminds me of Demon Slayer, probably before Demon Slayer, because Demon Slayer came out 2019 actually. But anyway, so for Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan, because I find this series to be a recommended anime. I mean, if you enjoyed Inuyasha, especially the original Inuyasha series, you might want to check out Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan, as well as there's a lot of other ones anime out there, particularly that are recommended to other anime that are similar to Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan out there. So that's going to be it for my anime review on Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan for today's anime review. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's my thoughts on this. When I first watched this, I really loved this because I think I finished watching the whole entire series of Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan the other day, which is probably about months ago, I believe, as well. And yes, because I consider this to be my favorite supernatural anime with some Japanese mythology, probably, of how it goes for Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. Hope subscribe for content. My anime pilot link in the description down below. You can share this video on your Twitter and Facebook. If you have Twitter and Facebook account and all social media, be sure to give this video a thumbs up by clicking on the like button on this video. Smack the like button if you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave in the comment section what is your thoughts on Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, RuRoniK95. Feel free to join my channel, especially if you're new to my channel. Hit the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified as well. And keep it otaku for this anime review. This is RuRoniK95 saying thank you for watching my video, and I'm glad you liked it, and I hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next anime review, and I hope you have a great day. And also, I have another anime review upcoming, which I have for what's in store for today, what I have here. Stay tuned for my next anime review. I have another anime series that I have finished watching yesterday for tomorrow's anime review on One Punch Man. Stay tuned for my next anime review on One Punch Man, because you won't want to miss another anime review.